Hey guys, how you doing this morning? Sean here from Voice from the Dirt Road, and yes, I am not at my other studio. I am actually in Savannah, Georgia. As you can see, the river here behind me. The team, we had the opportunity to come down to Savannah last night, and we saw some farmers yesterday afternoon, and we'll see some more today. And on top of that, we'll also see some of my fellow veterans down here in Savannah. But I just want to jump right into the show this morning. Not going to hold you too long. First, I want to say thank you for last week. I was doing some traveling, and we actually replayed the data center video for you. So I hope that you enjoyed that. A lot of great information that was in that particular episode. And on top of that, this particular week, if I'm not mistaken, in Paulding County, there in Northwest Georgia, they actually did a 6 week pause to ensure that the local people get a chance to let their voice be heard. So, a big shout out to those guys, and keep doing what you're doing. You know, data centers are coming, but I firmly believe that farmers, all of us across the board, should have a say in where it's going to be, who's paying for it, how much electricity it's going to use, how much water it's going to lose. We should have those requirements in place before we actually have a data center in your backyard. And like I always say when I'm out and about talking, who wants a data center in their backyard? And I guarantee you, you can't get anybody to raise their hand and do that. But with that, today's episode, we're going to talk about several things. But before I jump into that, because I'm here in Savannah, let me tell you couple quick things about this beautiful river here. This morning, we're here. As before we came on the air, a couple of boats came by. This is one of the major waterways when it comes to ports, when it comes to this part of the United States. If you can see behind me, there's the iconic bridge there. And oh, by the way, I actually just looked back. Let me just get out the way here. A major cargo ship is coming through. You can't make this up. That's what you call live on on the show. So when 5 minutes before we came on, we was kind of talking about what I'm going to say about this river, and all the things I was supposed to say. It was supposed to be a major waterway for caramels and all of that. And lo and behold, check that out. Major ship is just coming in. All of those things that you see on there, those cargo containers, inside of those containers could be stuff from everywhere. And that is how we get things in the country, but at the same time outside of the country. So just unbelievable that this would be happening while we're live here on the show. But at the end of the day, as the ship go by, you're going to get a chance to see it. But I want to move on into what we kind of talking about today. Here in Savannah, we have the river. This is a historical site. I would tell anybody, no matter where you're watching me from, take the time, come to Georgia, visit. We got some incredible places, but come to Savannah and hang out. It's right across the river here. We can't see it anymore because of this major ship passing by. That's like downtown King Street. A lot of history over there, and I would encourage you to go and check that out. Now, what are we talking about today? A couple things have actually happened here in the past week. And Shelly, will you go on and put up the first thing, please? All right. I think everybody's tracking that the border has now been reopened. And when I say the border's been reopened, that's not the entire border. It's 3 or 4 entry points and to allow meat to come in from Mexico. And now let me caution you, because out there you'll see some people are very upset, others are very happy. The ones that are upset are concerned that the screwworm situation could get further out of control. However, these ports that they actually open up are miles and miles, hundreds of miles away from where the screwworm situation is at. And then on top of that, I have the confidence in our system that people are going to be checking each and every last one of these cattle that come in um, to the United States. All of these cows that are coming into the United States from Mexico are coming here to be processed to turn into meat, hamburger steaks, and all of those kind of things. Why is this important? Is because, as you guys know, we have the smallest herd of cattle today in the United States. We're making money. I'll be the first one to tell you, when we take it to the market, we're making money. However, we don't have enough calves that when we put them out there to truly meet the demand of meat that's out there. So that's why the administration has made the decision to open the border back up. But by opening the border back up, some are concerned that it's going to flood the market, and it's going to actually make beef prices maybe at the grocery store come down a little bit. We'll have to wait and see with supply and demand. But some cattle producers like myself are concerned that, okay, all these cattle flood the market, and then the next thing you know, beef cattle prices on the hoof. What the business that producers like me are in, that now those prices start going down, and we're start losing money when the first time in a long, long time the cattle producers are actually making money. So I would tell you, the Cattlemen Association and others are watching this very closely. We will continue to watch it very closely, and we will actually keep bringing reports because it's just opened back up. The one more thing I just want to tell you about this is, I'm not going to say I support it or not. That's not my role in this particular uh, podcast. What I'm doing, my thing is to bring you information. But what I will say is this: it was many people in the western part of the United States at the processing plants and all the ranchers and everything else that had built their business plan on that beef coming over from Mexico. They were going out of business. So I'm happy that now we're bringing beef back in. That makes sure that those individuals can still feed their families, but we still need to be watching it very closely. So that's what's going on right now in the beef world. And then let's move on to the next topic.
His agriculture industry got a visit.
All right. The other big thing that actually happened in agriculture happened right here in the great state of Georgia. Secretary Rollins, she came down here to Carrollton, Georgia, which is not too far from where I live. But she came down to make an announcement. And it was kind of like two announcements in one. One announcement that I'll make sure I bring to your attention is the processing plants. Processing plant is where you as the individual or me as the cattle producer can actually go and get your cow processed into hamburgers, steaks, whatever. The problem that we was running into, or a problem that we still have, is one that was not addressed. I want to make sure everybody understands this. One that was not addressed is capacity. We don't actually have enough processing plants that are USDA inspected, that people like you and I that want to do farm to table can actually get your cattle in there in a timely manner to meet the demand. So this issue that Secretary Rollins came here and did does nothing to address that. What it did was made it the opportunity for processing plants, current processing plants, to try to get a grant, fill out some paperwork, and then get approved, so that they now, if approved, they do everything they need to do. They can take meat that they actually process here in Georgia and send it across state lines. That is big for our processing plants because, as you guys know, right now, like I said, I'm standing here in Savannah, right here on the river. Savannah, downtown King Street is right there behind me. However, if you were looking directly over my phone that I'm talking to you on, directly 20 minutes from here is Hilton Head, South Carolina. So just to give you a great idea, if it's a processing plant right here, now that individual not only can sell his meat or her meat right here in Savannah, but now he can send it over to Hilton Head, and that opens up a great new market for him. So I'm happy for that piece of it, but I also want to be clear with everybody. The big rock that everybody was looking for was the capacity side. How do we get more processing plants here at the local level that's USAID inspected so that you can have more farm to table, because the demand is out there and all kind of people are actually asking farmers every day. I know I get the phone call every day, Sean, how can we buy some beef directly from you on the farm? And we working on that. But the reality of it is I got to have a processor that I can depend on and that I can get the cattle into, and then ultimately that gives you the quality cuts that you're looking for. So that's where we are on that. But I think I have a video where Lebanon Alive is talking about some of this.
His agriculture industry got a visit from a Trump administration official today. The Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, met with farmers in Carroll County to talk about the challenges facing rural communities. Rollins toured NG Turf, a sod farm, to discuss the impact of new federal policies on farmers. She says cutting labor costs, opening new markets, and lowering input costs, are helping keep farmers in business.
Since I was here last, Tyler, at least since that first meeting, we've had a 35% reduction in labor costs in just 1 year alone. I think it's also important to note that Brian mentioned as well, your great congressman, that we've been working very hard to continue the payments, the bridge that is necessary as we're opening up new markets around the world, as we're opening up domestic markets here at home, and as we're bringing the cost of inputs down, that we've got to keep our farmers farming.
Rollins also highlighted a new program aimed at helping beef producers as the nation's cattle herd sits at a 75-year low. Georgia recently became the 11th state to join the USDA's Cooperative Interstate Shipping Agreement. The program allows Georgia's state-inspected meat processors to ship products across state lines using the SDA's seal of inspection, opening new markets and opportunity.
Well, as you can see there, we're moving in the right direction. But let me go a little bit off script, because guess what? We're doing this outside, and it kind of just hit me. Is many years ago, I think some of y'all guys probably see on my shirt, my Wound Your Warriors shirt. That's an organization that I support 100% and will always support. But as that video was playing, it hit me that many years ago, 40 plus years ago, my military career started not here in Savannah, but there in South Carolina at Parris Island, United States Marine Corps boot camp. And as the sun is starting to come up and it's humid, and I'm trying not to sweat here on the set, as you can see, I have absolutely no hair. It hit me that, wait a minute. It was hot 40 some years ago when I first started the military, and let me tell you something else. It is still hot here in Savannah, and it's not even 7:10 yet. But I want to stop and say thank you. I think right now it's roughly about 100 people watching this morning, so I just want to say thank you. I'm not sure on this platform this morning, the way we're doing it, can you put something in the chat and say, hey, I'm watching you, Sean, from so-and-so, so-and-so. But just again, I just wanted to stop and say pause and say thank you for supporting us. Thank you for helping us to get information out and kind of go from there. But again, if I can pull this off without sweat falling in my eyes, that's going to be a success for today. So with that being said, we already talked about the processing plants. We talked about where we at here in Savannah and why we here in Savannah. Yesterday, I won't go into names or anything, but yesterday I had an awesome visit. I stopped by a farmer's farm and looked at his whole operation. But when I stopped and looked at that whole operation yesterday, I was not stopping at it, looking at it from a point of view of Sean, the guy that you see on the podcast. I was looking at it from Sean, the farmer, because farmers mentor farmers. And this individual here, I consider him an outstanding mentor. And he gave me the opportunity to look at his farm, look at his operation. I learned a lot, and I'm going to take some of the things that he's doing on his farm and incorporate it into mine. And that's what I just encourage everybody to do that's in the farming business. Find you a mentor, older farmer that's been doing it for many years, and learn from him. But on the other side of the coin, if you're not into agriculture, I encourage you to reach out to our farmers. And if they're in agritourism, say, hey, can I come out to your farm and see what's going on? and learn for yourself. And I think because I was talking about farm to table, most of the people that I know that's in the farm to table side of it encourage you because they want you to see how they're actually raising their animals and in a humane way. So one other thing I just want to mention to you, since I mentioned that earlier, is this. On my farm, we actually do what we call regenerative ag. That means that we're treating the animals in the right way, but we actually move them around. They never stay on a pasture too long, so they constantly moving around, eating fresh grass, making sure that they got extremely clean water, everything. And that particular program, the reason why I bring that program up is because, and we'll talk more about it in detail next week, but that's a new program that the Rollins team is pushing out, where they're encouraging farmers like me that's in regenerative ag. You have traditional, you have regenerative ag, and then you have organic. So regenerative ag is where we're not putting all the chemicals and everything on the ground. How we do still give our animals their vaccine shots to make sure they don't get sick or injured or any of those kind of things, but we follow some principles, and the Rollins administration or the Trump administration now is rewarding us. And I think, and I don't have the number right here in front of me, but I think it's like $5 or $6 million that they got in this pilot program. And I'm proud to say that I was one of the farmers that was selected here in Northwest Georgia to participate in it. So we'll go through that one of these days when I'm moving the cows around. I'll show you that process. I'll even show you what I do when I have to measure the grass and all those kind of things, because I think in the future we're going to have a lot more farmers moving. Not saying anybody's doing it right, wrong, and different, but I think we're going to have a lot more farmers move from traditional into regenerative ag. And then our brothers and sisters that are doing the organic, they're doing an outstanding job. I just can't keep up with all the paperwork based on my schedule. With that, as y'all guys know that we're live, so I'm just going to tell you the truth. Because we're live, I don't have the little thing to the side that kind of tells me what I'm supposed to talk about next. So I got to look over here at Shelly and say, Shelly, what the hell am I supposed to be talking about next? The 11 billion. All right. Currently, right now in Washington, D.C., last week or the week before, Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War and Secretary of Agriculture Rollins both had to testify to Congress. I'm not going to get into that, but on Secretary Rollins' side, she was asking for some additional money for the farmers. With that being said, we just need to be truthful. The administration is doing their best to try to keep farmers afloat. However, it's a lot of things that are putting pressure on farmers, and some of them are actually going bankrupt. And y'all guys know the bankruptcy rate here in Georgia is going up and everywhere else. But with that being said, it's $11 billion, additional $11 billion or so that she was actually asking for Congress to give so that they can send out another bridge payment to the farmers. The only issue I see with that is, one, first you got to get it. And then two, when these bridge payments come out, does those bridge payments get here in a timely manner so that farmers can stay afloat? It feels as if every 3 to 4 months, it's a new type bridge payment that's coming out to us. And that simply says to me, if everything was going well for us in farming, we wouldn't continue to get these bridge payments. And some of my fellow farmers have said it the best. We don't want a handout. We just want to have markets to be able to sell our stuff. So with that being said, right now we got additional tariffs that just came back out on some countries. We'll have to see how that play out. But on top of that, at this point, a couple things have happened. That $11 billion has not been approved. I think everybody should make sure they're tracking that. But then on top of that $11 billion that has not been approved is that right now is still the farm bill is still stuck somewhere in committee. And with everything that's going on in Washington D.C., I'm not 100% now. I had a lot of confidence a few weeks ago, but I'm not 100% now that the farm bill is going to make it out of committee and get passed. Because right now in D.C., the House is back at home. The Senate is still there, but I think it's got some internal issues going on. So I think the Senate is also going to be coming back home, and then they're on recess all of this particular month. So um, we're going to see what actually gets done. But I just kind of wanted you to be able to track that. Shelly just handed me a note, says we got over 200 people watching us this morning. And again, I want to say thank you to everybody. Please like and share. Tell guys that, hey, Sean has took voices from the dirt road, and we on the road. We are truly on the road. We're down in Savannah. If you're just getting on, this is the Savannah River behind me. We just had a major ship come through, and things are great. Why am I down here in Savannah? As soon as I finished doing this, I got to go to a veterans event and talk to some fellow brothers and sisters. Um, and when I say talk to, I'm also listening, and see how can we help our fellow veterans. I'm also going to do a show in the future where I talk about something that I did from being a soldier to a farmer. I think this going into agriculture is a great thing for our veterans, and then we're going to talk more about that, and it gives you a purpose because in the world of agriculture, I'm not going to lie to you, every day is not a holiday. But again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the future, and then on top of that, later on, we will at the same time be talking to some fellow farmers later on this afternoon. And like I said there, um, please, 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 please pick up the phone today. If I'm not mistaken, today is Friday. Pick up the phone today and call Washington, D.C. and say, hey, where are we at on this farm bill? What are we doing? Why is it held up? And I would tell you, it's some things that was put into it, that's hidden into it, that cause some grumbles. I'll let you do your own research on it, but call your senator and say, hey, fix it. Let's get it done. Let's take care of the farmers and let's get it out of committee. Um, One of the things I don't want to hold you too long this morning because I don't want you to be seeing me sweating here on live, I guess live TV or live podcast or whatever you want to call it. And then on top of that, if y'all guys know me, you know that I'm a 100% disabled veteran. So when I stand in one spot for a long time, my back is killing me. So that's why you keep seeing me kind of move around a little bit because this is live and this is real. Not sitting down at the house and talking to you. We're actually doing it right here in Savannah, and I'm glad to do it. Hopefully this information is going to be very beneficial for you. So with that being said, I mentioned already that as a farmer, as a veteran, just everyday people, the world of agriculture is very, very stressful right now. And because it's very stressful, I ask you if you're having an issue, if you're struggling, please pick up the phone and call 988. Somebody will answer that phone. A professional will answer that phone and help you get from where you at today to tomorrow. Because I always say it all the time is this: don't let a short-term issue make a long-term decision. So, with that being said, my man over there is putting in his work. He's cleaning up the pool area. So I got to respect that because I love when people get out and work and kind of go from there. So because we got the guy cleaning up, we got a beautiful place here down here in Savannah. And because I'm actually starting to sweat my butt off, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we got to be at the end of the show. I can't really tell exactly how many people are following us, but I got a note here that says roughly about 200 plus. So I just want to say thank you to all of y'all guys. If you see me down here in Savannah, stop me, say hi. I love to take a picture with you, chat it up, and kind of go from there. So with that, guys, we've been on now roughly about 24 minutes. You know, we try to keep this show where it's 30 minutes so that you can get a little nugget and then get on out there and check cows, do what you need to do. This morning, I got a cup of coffee out of the hotel here, and it's good coffee. but it's too big for me to just drink it all. So today we won't be able to turn the cup over, but I do want to say this. Hey, thank you for supporting this show. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting all the people that you don't see that's behind the system to ensure that I can actually pull this off. So again, look forward to seeing you somewhere out there. And if you want us to come visit your farm, send us a little note, and we'll come and talk about your farm and what you're doing, and try to get people, especially doing farm to table. We'll do a little something for you. So with that, guys, have a great day. See you somewhere out there. If you see me here in Savannah, stop me and say hi.